Dojangapta Yedama Guru Lata Chichi Tarasowa Tapi Nyordu Malundu Baranzetu So Tisum Sanje Guru Lemba Mudu Kunda Tewa Chembe Shabar
Melamchim is a place, a cluster of houses on a Himalayan mountainside, a temple village at the northern end of the Yolmo Valley, a network of pastures scattered over the Tari Massif. Melamchim is a history, the story of people making a life, herder farmers who work as wage laborers in India, peasants who are also landlords, Tibetan Buddhists who depend on shamans. This is a portrait of a Himalayan village. Melamchim's founding families migrated from Tibet in the 1800s. Its mythical roots go back much farther.
동만이 우랑 고릴라를 미남 유부베데와 레팅딩레가 다 율되기 나래 동네니 다 배만 말아가 벌레네 아바만 고릴라랑 기신 고릴라를 잡또 어제라 훌치니 고래들 먹비봐 원래 오게 죽딜라 원래 율게 까매게 레베시 장다 답신 원래 해 주신 다장 고래들라 베네 베신 고르디 우랑 줄라 고 분줄라 벤 메도도 자가지미만데 다 김당 자가도 그렇고 펜도도 띵래 어들라 미나 베심 궁게 말라블라니 나게 말 아르칼라 아생가 아르칼다 네 아르칼라니 다 종근디 가오인도 띵나 본주를 펜도온 게 유미마 당부지마나 우랑디 바솔라 질라 또 아우케상 먹거든 우랑 아우샤 당부 아바 메메셀렘바 마야 궁야 좀먹고를 깡을 남잘디요 본주를 거펜 마도
Zomo are a dairy animal that thrives in the middle altitude zone between 7,000 and 13,000 feet, a range that is too high for cows and too low for yaks. Zomo are hybrids, the offspring of a yak father and cow mother. They are hardy at these altitudes and produce more milk than either parent species. Zomo herding preceded agriculture in Melamchim and has been the main source of income for many villagers. The herds never come to the village. They move with the family to low pastures in the winter and high ones in the summer. Because of the crops, village livestock cannot graze freely most of the year. They depend on fodder, which is cut and brought from the surrounding hillside. Fodder gathering usually falls to women and children, but only boys climb the trees. Large fields are plowed by bulls, kept for this purpose by several families who rent them out. Smaller fields are tilled by hand. Compost, made from night soil and leaf litter, is dug into the potato fields. Potatoes are a staple of the melamchim diet, eaten boiled with chili and salt. The main crops, wheat and barley, are planted in fall and harvested in spring before the pre-monsoon rains. Agricultural labor involves either informal cooperation between extended family members or a more formal labor exchange called lari, in which one day of work is repaid by one day of work. Soaked corn is being pounded in preparation for a New Year's meal. Balmu and some of her daughters, her sister-in-law, and nieces are sharing the work and will share the corn. Informal cooperative arrangements among family members provide opportunities for socializing and cementing family ties, especially for those living in godes. Pinzo is the adopted son of a Tibetan refugee and came to melamchim as a boy. He and his father take care of the gombo or temple and the water-driven mill. The rituals surrounding death are Buddhist. Ganji, an unmarried elderly woman, died after a 2-week illness. Her cousin has organized the death rituals. The body, wrapped in a white sheet and dressed in red cloth and crown, sits by the house altar as the books are read. A branch of thorns has been placed in the litter to discourage bad spirits from sitting there, and is removed just before the body is placed in the chair. procession leads the soul out of the house, out of the village, away from worldly attachments, and into the heaven where it will prepare for its next incarnation. The procession stops at the Gomba for the first of several death rituals to be performed there over the next year. Even when melamchim people die in India, their rituals are performed here in the village Gomba. The body is carried to the edge of the village where it will be cremated. The women and children leave before the fire is lit. Only the men remain to tend the pyre and chant the prayers. Pilgrimage site for Buddhists worldwide. In early July, most Yolmo Gombas hold a Nara festival, honoring the founding lamas. Melamchim's Nara takes place over 5 days. Everyone participates in the rituals of giving and receiving that underscore each family's relationship to the Guti. On the first day, men gather in the Gomba to make torma. These statues of barley flour are decorated with designs of brightly colored butter. The men and boys who read the books prepare the torma which will form the Nara altar. Across the village, other men and boys gather in an empty house to make zero, ceremonial braided wheat bread fried in butter. These are distributed on the last day of Nara. Major donors, big landholders, and lamas receive the large square ones. while other residents receive several small ones. More than 120 pounds of butter is used for the Nara bread, and it takes 3 days to make enough. For the next 2 days, those village men who read Tibetan read the Nara texts. In Melamchim, village men constitute the members of the Gomba, and they perform the rituals. The presiding lama is also a villager, a member of the founding lineage of this Gomba who has studied with relatives who are lamas themselves. While the book reading continues into the night, the rest of the village gathers next door to eat and dance. Zangbu is sponsoring a yum. Buddhist books from the Gomba will be carried to his house. He will pay to feed the village men and boys who read the books, all simultaneously for 4 days. The entire village helps bring the books to his house. Carrying the sacred texts confers merit, just as reading them does. As sponsor, Zangbu gains the most merit from the yum. Some aspects of life in Melamchi have changed little since 1971. But by the middle 1980s, forces outside the village were being increasingly felt. Circular migration was widespread, bringing money and new ideas into the village. Melamchi was included within the borders of the Longtong National Park, which brought the village in contact with government park administration. In 1984, a government primary school was opened in Melamchi. The teacher is from outside Yolmo and teaches the national curriculum in Nepali language, bringing both literacy and new values to the village. Village meetings are informal gatherings where problems are discussed and fees collected. On this day, each household sends a member to pay wood and grass taxes, for themselves or relatives. Village headmen record the payments. In 1989, the village school moved from the Gomba to a new building, constructed with the help of donations from tourist trekkers. A village picnic celebrates the opening of the new school building.
Karma. Mayangba, kurba mele. Nagudegi mele. Chaura, sabas, chaura. Ago se, kemele, chidule.
Chaura.
Lagba mele.
Chaura.
Oh, sabas, chaura. मास्टर क्याम्पलाई आएको अहिले 4 वर्ष भयो अहिले मसँग खास दैनिक स्कुल आउने दिनदिनै स्कुल आउने विद्यार्थी संख्या कहिले 30 र कहिले 31 जना हुन्छ र अहिले मेरो आधा क्लासदेखि हाफ क्लासदेखि अहिले 5 क्लाससम्म यो मङ्सिरदेखि 5 क्लाससम्म सुरु छ कुनै संख्यामा अलग अलग स्थानमानका संख्याहरू छुट्टा छुट्टै लेखेर छुट्टा
Except for Gode families, most children attend school when their families are in melamchim. After class 5, they must leave the village for boarding school. The establishment of the Longtong National Park in 1984, with its rules, fines, and limitations on the use of pasture and forest resources, was the last straw for some Gode families whose children would rather work in India than take over the herd. Galipemba Gyalbu's Gode is spending the month of March at his pasture about an hour-and-a-half walk from Melamchi. 2 of his Zomo gave birth this morning. Of his 9 children, 6 are in the family Gode, while the 3 oldest are in India. He himself has been to India twice.
동마 거래다 동마 그 다시 렌드 거래 로카지로 어머니면 제가 여기 당들은 갈치지
야부지는
야부지에서는 저 티스 팅아 80,000 70,000 선만
야부지 매달리 지금
쓰는 지금 매달 좀 거래라 좀 칼지 쨍아지서 열 아래 그는
그 체험이 주면
체험이 주지
그래서 간데도 땅 주면
땅 미지만이
그 구심에 뭐 구심에 영마도 매달
그 구심이 그런데 니 건다 많이 그러나 그 karpu tosna prek 생업에 거 일날에 어머저이랑 어머저이 저장지랑 어랑 싱두지랑 지주지 지압에면
조마소마 그러면
조마소마 다 잡아 더 레라 두불에 쳇밥도 들어가 쳇에 들어가 두부면 조물담에
제대로 들어가 농구 두고는 현재는 오야 안 돼. 잘못을 해 봐. 지나면은 그 오늘에 오마 좀 먹고 쇼상 먹고 원래 야구 거리들 비루 좀 앞에 됐으면 나 오들에 미치부면 때문 원래 저 온거 고쳐하면
In 1984, 2 families responded to the burdens of Gode life by trying something new, making zomo rather than milking them. These new herds, composed of a yak and a number of breeding cows, produce zomo. Other families followed suit, all older couples with many years of zomo herding experience who traded the daily chores of milking and making butter for the easier life of raising zomo for sale. Cows could be kept lower most of the year, nearer the village, as long as the yak could be boarded up above. Women could spend more time in the village.
로 잡질 거리 수교. 원래 로 잡질라 아버지 대학시 마세만은 좀 구단갈 랑고 직대 때 다시 때려 나라 어딜 교매 때려 원래 뒤 카르랑라 카르가 먹고요 봐. 거래장도 돼. 거래 정도 유로 마트 맞잖아. 원래 띵나 배사 네 아마다 아머니 파티데 두 분인데 거래 정도 김나 로 죽던데 교매나 네 카르칼지 마서는 빈 주유가면아 빈 주그 카르카 원래 바이가니 루브 정도 로랑 원래 카르카 미 사우두와 원래 미가 싸면 카르카 먹는 걸 미슈그랑가 앞으로 랑게 싸라 카르카 랑게 싸 사지 바랑가 장대 원래 조마치니 되농 마 라르베데 앞으로 아버 장교면 원래 로니스 아버 때근 원래 니숨스 잡더금 때금모도 원래 아버 힘 때금모면
As money flows into melamchim from work outside Nepal, the appearance of the village changes. Most of the houses have tin roofs, and several have replaced the open hearth cooking fire with a metal firebox and chimney, which greatly reduces smoke in the house. And electricity has come to melamchim, followed shortly by the first television. Even government posters about AIDS have found their way to the Gomba wall. New marriage customs are appearing in melamchim. Love marriages, arranged by the boy and girl together, are replacing the traditional capture marriage, in which the unsuspecting girl is grabbed by friends of the groom and weds under protest. In a capture marriage, girls may refuse to go. Several years can be spent trying to fix such a marriage. Eventually, she either joins her husband or the marriage is dissolved. In some cases, the bride's parents know ahead of time, but the girls are always surprised. Beginning in the mid-1980s, especially among young people with experience in India, some marriages were arranged by the young couple themselves, although the capture is still carried out and the girl protests strenuously.
어디니 아와마게 리나마 총거지도 마신 원래 나랑가 레오 마신 원래 경기
दांदरी आग नल जी में साल बेते रोन में ना तो मन जी में अब कपड़े करके हमें को में ना तो मन जी में अब कपड़े करके जी नो कपो तो दांदरी नहीं जी साल बेते रोन जी हाँ कोई नहीं दांदरी नहीं आग नल जी ले रो तो मन जी में हमें को मी कपड़े करके दांदरी नहीं जी उनसे वाले साल ताई होंगे माई साल के की Oui.
쌤 매번 쌤이 가래지다. 뒤랑 매번 이라. 뒤랑 매봐. 이사단은 일로서 가래르위. 라나기 쌤 그때 돈 용어라니. 띵네 두분 용나 지 라나 가랄 갈요. 어레 기포나 라나 가랄 갈요. 미 잡을 상에는 다 미라 납사테비 배청구도 들어. 쌤부터 돈 용어라니 매봐매나. 난 드린다 그시 매고 가면 그시 오거지. 그래서 그러면 그시 가리시면 이러 잡아서 띠 장겨나매나. 잡아서 띠 장겨. 그래서 되겠니? 난 드리는 답변자 어디서 가다